Back when I got into the business in 2014, I was constantly on the lookout for great creators and people that could kind of show me the right way to do this business. Because Lord knows there were a lot of black hat tactics and people sharing some of those things when I first broke into it. But when I discovered this gentleman, Doepker, I just became infatuated with his message because everything was above board. He never ever promised any kind of lavish dreams of Lamborghinis and mansions and things like that. And that's what resonated most with me. So of course, about a few years ago, when we actually got connected to do an interview on my channel previously, it was really awesome. I was fanboying out, and we have since grown a great friendship, if I don't mind saying so here, Derek, you happen to be tuning in, that we've been able to kind of chat with each other and network with each other. But I wanted to tap into something that Derek knows a lot about, and that is a book launch and how it could either make or break the success of your book. What are some of the tactics and strategies that he puts in to launching a book into bestseller status? And boy, he gave me a strategy in this interview that I think is something I'd never considered. But once you hear more about it, you're going to go, huh, it makes a lot of sense. And it's rather easy to start right away. So without any further ado, let's get into the interview with Derek Doepker. Derek, I think you're getting to the point now. You're going to end up having a gold jacket for appearing over on my channel multiple times. Are you excited about that?
I'm super excited. I always love doing interviews with you, Dale.
Yeah, I'm always pumped up to get a chance to chat with you because you're one of the people I consider the OG. I've looked up to you for so many years. Back when I was just breaking into this business, you were sharing information so willingly. So I feel like you're a great go-to person when it comes to launching a book. What has been the process for you in launching a book, and especially trying to get it to where it's selling and, more importantly, becoming a bestseller on its individual platform?
Yeah, so there's a couple different strategies, but the gist of book launches, which if anyone's studied this is probably going to be just a reminder, familiar territory here, which is driving a lot of sales during that launch period. And so I kind of divide it into a couple phases. So there's like the pre-launch, and this is where, I mean, we could spend hours and hours on this. So I'm going to give the kind of high level overview. Then you can ask me more questions on anything specific. Yeah. Basically, pre-launch, I want to get some early readers in there. I want to get some people who might potentially leave a review. And if you have an email list, that's going to help with just about everything that you're doing. Building your email list, whether that's finding reviewers, promoting the book when it launches. Now, if you're just starting out, you don't have an email list to start with, okay, there's, if we're talking early readers, there's ways of finding them through different groups. There's different services that can help you connect you with reviewers. I've done things like doing a giveaway of similar books. So you can do this in any genre. I did like, here's 10 best-selling personal development books, and one person's going to win this bundle, and I'll buy the books on Amazon and ship it out to the winner. But everyone who enters is now on an email list, doing like King Sumo. And so I've gotten people who've agreed to be early readers, like, hey, you didn't win the big prize, but I got this book coming out. You can check it out, offer some feedback if you'd like. So basically recruiting people that can help refine the manuscript, because obviously we want a good book to launch. And then when it first uploads, I want to have initially, I like to get at least sort of a minimum of 10 to 20 reviews on the book real early on before I even start doing promotion for the launch. So if you have some people who've read it, and we can dive into anything you want to know about getting reviews as well, but basically getting those initial reviews in place. Then if we're talking about an ebook launch, doing some sort of discount. So that could be, if you're in KDP Select, that could be like a free to a 99-cent kind of transition, or just starting out at 99 cents, some sort of discount for a limited time. And I've done this in Daniel Throssell, who's a great email copywriter. He did like, I think, brainstormed or helped do like Australia's biggest ever book launch. And so I was just interviewing him, and he was kind of giving... I give the part of the strategy that he shared on the interview, so I know he'd be comfortable with this. And that's basically the combination of the discount combined with bonuses. And so you really think, what's a like sexy bonus or bonuses that you could offer, especially for your audience, that they might want to get those bonuses even if they almost don't care as much about the book. hopefully they also care about the book. The idea is like, I want to get those bonuses. So you got this discount. Maybe it's going on for about 5 days or whatever, kind of a window of opportunity where maybe it's like you can get the book, it's on sale, and you get these special bonuses, and you've been building the buzz up to that. You just want to drive sales over that period of time. And these days, talking to other experts and people who are on top of it, when I got started, it used to be like try to get a bunch of sales in one day. Nowadays, it's more get it maybe over the course of 5 days or over a launch period of a week or so, and just maximizing the sales. Then after that, you might raise the price, and you can then kick on things like Amazon ads or other forms of advertising that can kind of help sustain the sales at a regular price. So that's very high level, kind of the gist of doing book launches, and we can dive deeper into any of this that you want to, Dale.
Yeah, so you're one of the easiest guests that I've ever interviewed. That's why I could have you here practically every week, because you do have a great understanding of the business and have interviewed some of these pros. Let's go ahead and backtrack just a little bit. I want to kind of unpack a few of these areas here, because you obviously brought up some really good points. Now, when you talk about offering a bonus, I think the very first thing a lot of people are going to be concerned about is, does this violate any terms of service? And if it doesn't, what type of a bonus would I offer?
Yeah, so when I think terms of service, I want to make another point about getting book reviews. Never want to offer any sort of incentive for someone to leave a review. Like if you leave a review on Amazon, I'm going to give you a, prize or something like that.
Tiffany's jewelry. You remember that case, right?
Yeah, so definitely want to avoid that. I don't see any issues with offering a bonus of saying like, hey, if you get the book, something that's congruent with it. So I've done things like, hey, if you get the ebook and you send me a receipt, I'm going to give you the audiobook as well. Things like that. So something that's congruent with the book. I actually don't want a lot of people, though, buying the book who aren't actually interested in it. It's not meant to be get a bunch of sales, and it could also possibly throw off the algorithm if it's like people who don't want the book. I know I said earlier, like almost like even if they don't want the book, but that's more of a thought process. Like, what's such a good bonus that they want? Like, ooh, I was on the fence about the book, but I definitely want to get the bonus, or I was going to wait to get the book, but now I want to get this bonus. And I also do a lot of things direct sales as well, so that's a side note. We're kind of talking Amazon, but also when you're doing direct sales, you can kind of do whatever you want. Create a whole bonus package when someone buys the book for a limited time. So yeah, I don't know, haven't heard of any issues with bonuses so long as it's not tied to a review or and also again just practically speaking, you don't want to mess up the algorithm by having a bunch of people who are buying the book who aren't actually interested in the book.
Very good. So I don't want to have the bonus be like, say, a $10 Amazon gift card. That wouldn't make any sense, because then I'm just getting a bunch of, for lack of better terms, freebie seekers.
Yeah, correct. You're not trying to necessarily force sales. The idea is it's motivating people. The whole idea, and this is whether you're talking book launch or anything else, you think there's kind of the motivators of, you got a deadline, you have a discount, and then you have maybe something that they can get for a limited period of time. Now, I know we're talking book launches, but let's say if I'm doing maybe a course launch or selling something else, and maybe I want to keep the price steady, but I want to motivate people to be like, hey, for this week, it's a such and such holiday sale special, or it's my birthday special. So if you get this thing, the price might be the same, but you're going to get the special bonus package as long as you get it by Sunday night or whenever. So this is just understanding kind of the principles of what can you do that motivates people to take action, because like I do it too. Like I'll just procrastinate. Like it's human nature. Just wait. I'll get to it later. And so that's why even when I'm writing a book, I'll set deadlines for myself. I used to do this with a group where it's like, if I don't get the next chapter done by the next time we meet, I'm paying you each $20 or whatever. So I use deadlines and incentives for myself. And so I feel like it only makes sense that we just, we do it with, in the marketing. And it's not to say you have to do any of this stuff. These are simply options for you to play with. And another thing, I was also reminded with my interview with Daniel Drossel, is when you have an email list, you're going to be sending multiple emails. So it's not just like day one of the launch, hey, the book is out, and then on the final day, oh, by the way, the the deal is expiring. I mean, if you're doing like a 5-day launch, you're posting on social media each day, probably emailing each day. You're like, that's a whole thing, an event, and you can pre-schedule it to go out, but it's not just mention it once, because you'll find that a lot of sales and things tend to come in right around deadlines for things, and also it takes repeated exposure to things for a lot of people to buy something. So during that time, you might be given sneak peeks of your book. You might be making announcements of how the book is doing, some reader reviews that have started to come in that you're sharing it, like whatever you can do to be sharing content and getting people excited. And again, I come back to my own experience. There's plenty of things where I see an email, or I see a book launch, and 2 emails, 3 emails, 5. By email number 6 or message number 6, I'm like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and get it. Right? But I would have forgot about it if I just saw one message or one post on social media and then never saw it again.
When do you think it's too much? When is it a little bit overboard, if you will?
The big thing to keep in mind is if you have people who are your followers, a lot of times they want to hear from you. So I'm more concerned about the people who are my raving fans more than the people who don't. If people don't care about it and they want to stop following me or unsubscribe or something like that, I'm not concerned. It's the people who are interested in this. And this is the thing. Whatever messages you're putting out, even if there was no, hey, I got this book available, would it still be entertaining? Would it still be something that they'd enjoy seeing? Now, that said, could you go overboard? It just depends on the platform. If it's a tweet, 10 tweets a day. I don't do Twitter or X, but like, you can get by with a lot more. If it's email, yeah, you probably don't want to do 37 emails on that final day, but you could get by with probably more than you think. I've seen people do 3 emails, 5 emails, and I know some people are going to be horrified by that. Oh my gosh, I'd hate it. The thing to keep in mind is, again, are these things entertaining? And are they people who have signed up to hear from you because they like your stuff? And I think about it where, I might think, I don't have time to check this stuff out, but I'll binge. I mean, you're a YouTube creator. There's YouTube creators who are posting every day, multiple times a day. And I'm like, when are they posting their next video? I want more. Like you become, it's just like, so you're thinking those are kind of the people that you want to appeal to, the people who are like, hurry up, Dale. I want to see your next video. When's it coming out? And so, yeah, it's hard to say like what's too much. It's going to depend on your audience and your messaging. But I would say having at least one thing a day during a launch period. So at least one post a day, at least one email a day. That's a pretty good minimum to keep in mind.
Do you ever have like a template for how you communicate with people during that period? Or is it just go with your gut and express yourself as simply as possible?
Yeah, I've been doing it for so many years now. I kind of have some go-to things that I share. And I can give general, actually give a shout out. Alessandra Torre has, if you search for it, I think maybe it's called 35 or 40 email ideas. And it says email. And as you could probably hear, everyone can hear, I'm very biased in favor of email. However, if you just call that content, right? So that could be social media posts, videos, emails, different things like that. You study what other authors are doing. And yeah, I guess I have certain go-to things if I'm launching something. Some of it might be, pre-buzz, doing a cover reveal, doing some of the initial early reviews that are coming in, kind of like who this book is for, who it's not for, right? I give one sort of fun little thing that any author can play around with is like, who should not read this book? Who should not buy this new whatever book? And Rev.com has this great article. For those who don't know, Rev is a transcription service. So it's about as kind of boring and it's just a functional sort of thing. They had this really good like anti-gift guide a number of years ago on their blog. And it's like who you should not buy, why you shouldn't buy Rev for your niece or nephew. And it's like they wouldn't appreciate this insert blah, 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 blah feature or whatever. And so they were just like very tongue-in-cheek. I was just thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't buy this book if you have a heart condition because the heart racing thrills might be too much for your ticker if it's like a thriller novel or something like that. So you can be very fun and playful with it. Speaking of email marketing, I have an email, or it's like 5 reasons not to do email marketing. And it's like, I don't even remember what all I say, but it's just kind of tongue-in-cheek stuff. Like you love disappointing the people who want to hear from you or stuff like that. And, keeping them in the dark, wondering what's going on in your life. So that's something like you can find these different little angles where you're having fun with it. And so that's like the inversion method. So if you're thinking, who is this book for? You can certainly put a message out there like that. It's like, warning, absolutely do not buy my new book if blah, 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 blah. And so that's just kind of entertaining types of content. But stepping back, I mean, yeah, they're doing things like cover reveals, talking about what's in the book, who's going to enjoy it, who it's for, who it's not for, sneak peeks inside the book, little, revealing chapters or sections or quotes from the book. I see a lot of romance authors will do like, videos with like one of their scenes inside there. I saw a poetry author, Shelby Lee, actually just interviewed her. She's got like some poetry books, and it might just be one of her poems in there, screenshot of the book and stuff. So you're thinking you're giving people a taste of the book, and that's another really great piece of content, is just like giving them the appetizer. Like if you're at a store and they give you a little sampler of some food, and you go, I like that, maybe I want to buy some more.
Very good. Let's backtrack just again here. It feels like I keep backtracking because you gave a lot of good stuff here. Talking about the bonuses. It got me to thinking, how do I fulfill those bonuses? What's the best way to do that? Is there a specific platform that I should look into? And also, will it cost me a great deal of money or time to utilize those resources?
There's kind of lower tech, higher tech ways. I've had people, even today, I just go, just forward me your receipt. And then I just manually send them the bonus. And whatever bonuses I offer for stuff like this, pretty much always going to be a digital type of thing, right? So you might think a prequel ebook or, some supplementary sort of, whatever type of thing that you want to do. So it's usually going to be digital. You could, I suppose, have some sort of prize maybe for certain people that you maybe ship a signed copy of your book to one lucky winner, 3 lucky winners, or something like that. Mm-hmm. I tend to do digital, and yeah, I've had people forward a receipt. What happened is I did one time where I had a bunch of people send me the receipt, and this is the way I think. I go, okay, I'm in Gmail. So they send it to like my main address. So I have like, Derek at Bestseller Secrets, and so maybe they send it there, but it forwards to my Gmail. So I got my whole Gmail, and it's lined up, and I go, this is going to take 30 minutes, not too bad, but 30 minutes to sit here and reply to all these people. I wonder if there's a plugin that'll let me reply to all these people. So a quick Google search, yep, there's a Chrome plugin. I do a reply all to all these people who sent me this, and I go, congrats, here's your bonus, and I send the link to like everyone in kind of like one go. So that was one option. You could have people set up like a little opt-in page, and it would just be like, enter your name, your email, and your order receipt number, right? And little behind the scenes thing, I don't actually check the order receipt number, but I just kind of I use the honor system. I just use the honor system. I don't have a way of validating it or whatever, but you could do something like that. But yeah, I think a big mindset thing here is just kind of going, what's a simple thing? Because I mean, I have the ability to build out a whole tech solution, but I also work with a lot of authors where it's like they get so caught up, they're spending hours trying to figure out some complex solution. It's just like, yeah, just have them message you with the receipt and then reply, and then have a copy and paste like little thing that says, here, congrats, here's your bonus with the link to download.
You know darn well I'm not going to be able to let you go beyond the fact that you mentioned a browser extension for replying to everybody. Do you happen to remember that off the top of your head, what the name of it was?
I'm looking it up right now. I don't know if I still have it installed, but it's probably something like Gmail Reply All. If you search for that,
okay,
then something close to that should help you find it.
Tremendous. So it's just a simple Google search away. So that's fantastic, actually. I always learn something new from you every single time we chat. And I feel like we could probably delve back into, getting the reviews or, any part of the whole book launch process, but I feel almost like that would require another couple of hours for us to just sit and just chat and such. So that's why I thought we would go ahead and wrap up on something that I love to ask every guest, and I'm sure I've asked it to you in the past, so you're probably going to have something new for me this time. What advice do you have for aspiring authors and self-publishers out there?
One piece of advice, subscribe to everything that you're doing, Dale. You have great videos, you have great training. I like some of the sort of case studies that you do with different people and watching how you're helping out some authors and, showcasing different services and things like on Fiverr and all these things that you do. So that's one thing. And then I would say, I'm going to Imagine people are going to think I'm biased, and I guess I am as a coach myself. And I'd also say I got coaching. Even when I started out and I was broke, I remember I took a couple years to invest in a training program. It took me like 2 years to make payments before I could go through it. I volunteered at seminars to be able to learn more about marketing and stuff like that. So I'd say, invest in your education, and ideally, if you can get some sort of coaching or guidance, that can be in the writing process, developmental editors, people are giving you feedback. I do copywriting, and I'm a pretty good copywriter. I'm on a coaching call today showcasing some of my bullet points, and they're just getting ripped to shreds by master copywriter. I'm like, okay, so you keep getting, it's like whatever level you're at, there's always that next level of improvement. So the ego takes a hit when you're willing to go, okay, there's probably some things I'm not seeing about my book or about my launch process that could use refinement. And it doesn't have to be with me, or just like find someone that you trust who can kind of guide you through this, because there's a lot of information out there that it might not all apply to you, or not at this point. And that's where having someone that can work with you directly can help. And if you're just starting out, at the very least, get some early readers or get some people who can take it, put eyeballs on what you're doing and get that outside objective feedback.